Thank you, Margarita, for asking me to join you all here today. I have to say I'm completely in awe of the work that you guys do. It's incredible. It's not a subject I know very much about. I hope that what I say can be of some interest to you. I think Margarita was thinking that there might be some learning or some ideas about how we work that people might find interesting. It is something that's very different, and of course where we are is a very different place to where you are at the moment, and my thoughts are with you all. So I don't know how much you know. We're a very small charity. We are in an area in the United Kingdom, in Surrey, which is quite a mixed area. There is quite a lot of resource, quite a lot of people who are able to help others and who want to do that and are able to do that. There's also quite a lot of need, people that need help. And recently, of course, quite a few more than we're used to, with a lot of people coming in particular from Ukraine. Margarita, is it okay for me to just speak in English like this? There's no interpretation? No, okay, I'll carry on.
Так, у нас є перекладач.
Yeah,
we have interpreting, you can speak English.
About 7-8 years ago, we were a group of local people and we heard what was happening in Syria, and that people were leaving their home, that they needed somewhere safe to go. A group of us got together with a wish to do something. We weren't quite sure what we were going to do or how we were going to do it. What we started off doing was really actually campaigning, saying we wanted people to be able to come. You know, it wasn't uncontroversial. Some people didn't feel that way, but then also doing very practical things. So when some families did start arriving, doing things like helping people with furniture, helping people to learn English, and gradually we grew. So the scope of what we were doing grew. We got to know other families, other people who had arrived from different places all over the world, and it was never about how they came or where they come from. It was just about the fact that they were here and that they needed somebody to give them some support. So we did things like small grants of money, homework helpers to go and help children learn, catch up their studies. They often came quite behind, needing a bit of extra help. Some language tuition, so one-to-one volunteers, bits of furniture, and also understanding how life works here in the UK, which is quite different to a lot of the places where people are coming from. Paperwork, bureaucracy can be quite complicated, and often people need somebody to help them with that. So that was fairly steady until about 18 months ago, when we were joined by quite a lot of people from Afghanistan, and then recently obviously people from Ukraine. So that's been quite a sudden and unexpected growth. We now have 120 volunteers. Our youngest volunteer is 13 and our oldest is 96, and for pretty much everybody that wants to be involved, there's something amazing that they can do, and that working together we can do together. So it's really about working as a community, about everybody being part of the team and people being enabled to give what they're able to give, and that's what we try and do together. I think Margarita wanted me to talk as well about how we work with the local council, which is an important part of what we do, because I don't know how familiar you are with how the UK is governed, but a lot of the official responsibility for some of the work that we do is with them. So it's really very important that we have a good partnership and work with them. And that's something that's been particularly helpful recently with the arrival of Ukrainians, because they were able to fund some posts for Ukrainians who are currently in the community and who are able to now work full-time supporting other Ukrainians as they begin their journey here. So that's something that I found helpful. You know, it's not always straightforward. I don't think it ever is working with anybody, but I think it's an important part of how we do things. So I think, you know, working obviously recently, we've got to know some incredible families, and obviously Margarita's is one of them. It's been amazing to meet her and her daughter, and I think her son-in-law has just arrived, and her young son, of course, Daniel, who is an incredible example to all of us. And I think it's a small story of one of the things that we've managed to do. So we have 2 volunteers working with the family. One is a young man called Theo, who's I think done a lot of traveling in his time, and he's enjoyed showing them around. So he's taken them to Hampton Court, which I think Daniel was very interested in, and not sure where else they've been, but there's been some interesting cultural excursions. And then there's a lady called Sarah who helps Margarita with language lessons. I think her English is pretty good, but there's always a room, you know, to be better. And then there's Irina, who's one of our support workers, who has been helping with all sorts of things recently, particularly to do with housing and other difficulties. And then we have a local hub, which we set up, which is run by some other amazing volunteers, where they go, other Ukrainians go, they get general support, information, connection with each other. We've had some amazing Christmas events recently, a visit to a local park, Father Christmas, which is very, I don't know whether that's a Ukrainian thing, but funny man dressed in red comes and gives presents at Christmas. So that's been happening at the hubs recently. So I think that's a sort of a small story, one family, but it's about how hopefully it's made a difference to them, and it's made a difference to all of us being able to do it. And we always say, as volunteers, as people who are part of Elmbridge Can, it always does, it's done, you know, as much for us as a community as it does for the people that we work with. We learn a huge amount from them, we learn about ourselves, we learn about each other, and it gives our lives, you know, a huge amount of connection and meaning that we wouldn't have otherwise. So we're very grateful really to the people that we work with for that, and for the team that we're part of. So I hope that's interesting in some ways. I know it's a little bit of a different subject to I feel the main focus of the conference, but it's a real honour to be invited to be part of it. So thank you very much. Thank you.